It's Wednesday, August the 20th. Lake level is about 913 and a half. It's come down about 6 inches since last week. We haven't had any rain at all. You know, with as hot as it's been between evaporation, they've been generating some water at night. But looks like summertime's finally got here. It's been brutally hot the last few days, in the high 90s, and humidity's up pretty high, but it's been pretty pleasant out there in the morning. You know, like today the wind picked up and started blowing, so it wasn't too bad. But actually I think the bite has got better, you know, especially, you know, the drop shot bite has got better. There's some fish starting to move up. I've been catching some shallow fish the first couple hours of the morning on top water. But the water temperature is all anywhere from 82 to, depends where you're at on the lake, it's getting up to 86, 87 if you get around some stained water. But the bite that I think's picked up quite a bit has been the drop shot bite. You know, it's been the thing that's been working the best, but the quality seems to be a lot better. The last few days we've had several good quality largemouths and a lot of good solid Kentucky keepers, where a couple weeks prior to this week, you know, it hadn't been a problem catching fish, it was just catching keepers and the size of them. But it seemed like the last 3-4 days, them drop shot fish been biting a lot better, the quality's gotten a lot better. Now most of them fish, I mean, we're setting 80 to 100 foot of water. Some places in the centers of the creeks, a lot of places are like on main lake bluff ends and channel swings, and the fish are suspended out there over that deep timber, and they're anywhere from 35 to some of them as deep as 50 foot. Now what's been working the best for me is you know, just a 4-inch worm. I've been using some chompers worms, and the ones that have been working the best for me is, it's called Danger Close. Local guy, he imports them, but he's got one that's kind of like a cherry plum. It's been my favorite. But he's also got a watermelon purple laminated. Been catching some on it. Excuse me. And then also a watermelon red's been working good. And like I say, those fish, and that bite seems to be the best from about 8:30 to 10:30. So, you know, first thing in the morning, you can see the fish out there, but they don't seem like they start biting real good till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And they've been biting for an hour and a half to 2 pretty steady. Now, another way I've been catching some fish, and it's kind of common for it to start happening, you know, the end of August and early September. I've talked about it in the last couple of fishing reports that it should be starting to work. Well, it is starting to work for me right now. And what you want to do is go back into the creeks, almost all the way to the backs, fish some of the secondary points and the pockets and swings, and basically you're going to cover a lot of water until you find out what kind of rock they're on. But I'm throwing right up on the bank, you know, setting the boat in 10 to 15 foot, and I'm looking for more mixed rock than I am more so a gravel, something with some football sized rock. And what I'm throwing is topwater baits. I'm throwing this is a Strike King Rage Tail Craw, and I got no weight in there. I've got a hook that I would normally flip like a sweet beaver with. It's a number 4 hook. And the bait will throw a long ways because it's pretty heavy plastic, and basically what you do is work it like a buzzbait. The tails will kind of flap on it. You can twitch it like a topwater bait, but the best results I usually have is kind of burning it and stopping it. What's good about it is you can flip it, you know, underneath the dock walkways, in the shade behind the dock. Another bait that'll work good too is a Zoom horny toad. Basically the same thing. They're just soft plastic like frogs, and like I say, this one's real heavy, so without any weight you can throw it. You know, I'm throwing it on 17-pound line. You can throw it a long ways, work it like a buzz bait, and you know, if a fish misses it, just stop it and it'll sink down into the water real slow. A lot of times you'll get a second chance on it. And something else I've been playing with a little bit too is take a buzz bait, an old buzz bait, take the skirt off of it, and put just the rage tail or the horny toad onto the buzzbait. Rig it up just like that. And you want to fish this, you know, any kind of lay down, you know, with the water dropping, there's not a whole lot of lay downs in the water, but there is stumps, the sides of some of the pole timber, if you see any brush piles, and this is working in the extremely clear water for me. I haven't done it, you know, the last 4 or 5 days I've been from the dam down to Kimbling, so I've been in the clear end of the lake. I haven't tried it up in the stained water because I hadn't been there. But, you know, like I said, the visibility is down there about 8 to 10 foot. And what you want to do is when that sun starts coming up, just start working your shade lines. Work whatever side of the cove has still got shade on it. You know, you can run this pattern to about 10 or 11 o'clock, and the shade seems to be the key once that sun gets up and starts getting a lot brighter out. Get in behind the corners of the docks, on the outside ends of them. This one here is a watermelon red, but you might also try a white, will work. And on the horny toad, they make like a, oh, I think it's called a black swirl. Yeah, it's called a black and white swirl. It'll also work good. And I've also been throwing, you know, besides the buzzbait and the horny toad, I've been throwing like a spook junior up there, and also some prop baits. This is a kind of resembles a perch, you know, sunfish, bluegill. And I think that's what a lot of these bass are feeding on there. As I'm running the bank up there, usually wherever I get bit, I've either got some bait activity, real little bait, but I think the bluegill are feeding on the little bait and the bass are feeding on the bluegill. So, I mean, that should, you know, we've usually got about 2 to 3 weeks where that works fairly good. It seems like it starts to work and we get a cool down. Now, we're far from a cool down because the last week's been the hottest it's been all year, and it looks like the next week is going to be hot. But the bait's back there and the bluegill back there and we're catching fish back there. So it's something that, you know, should hold up for a little bit. You just got to cover a lot of water. Just put the trolling motor down. And good thing about these baits is you can burn them pretty quick and cover some shoreline. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.